This is one of our most interesting products called Owatrol oil. We started to distribute this back in 1997, and over the course of the next 10 or 20 years we found numerous applications, all types of applications, mostly different from each other. Rather than talking about all the different applications, we'll just focus on a small number of them today, which would be mostly to do with adhesion, paint adhesion, eliminating the problem of peeling paint, etc. Without further ado, we'll go through some of the different applications. Thank you for watching. Okay, here's another interesting application for Owatrol oil, a bit out of the ordinary. We had a customer who had garden table and chairs, hardwood. He was suggesting that he was going to buy a new set, so I said maybe you can refurbish them. So all he had to do here was to clean all this faded wood and dirt with some Netrol, and after that the solution was to paint the entire thing with a mix of oil-based paint and Owatrol oil. In this case the mix was about 50-50. Oil-based paint and Owatrol oil. The first coat would be applied. It would mostly soak into the wood, so it will be more of a stain effect or a wash effect, as some people call it, to give it more solid colour. Another coat of oil-based paint was applied with about 10% Owatrol oil. In that case, you'll end up with a situation like that will be maintenance-free for years. We have quite an unusual situation here where Owatrol oil was used on the chapel section of the Royal Hospital in Kilmainham. That's built about 200 years ago approximately. The issue was the papier-mâché ceiling, which was very, very delicate. They needed to restore it and at the same time not cause any damage. So it was decided to choose Owatrol oil and use that in conjunction with an oil-based matte paint diluted 50-50. So it was a very heavy mix of Owatrol oil mixed with the paint, and that was all applied by airless spray. So the end result of that was the entire papier-mâché ceiling was completely refurbished and painted with no damage, done in quick time and minimal effort. It's another example of one of the many uses of Owatrol. I'm sure you've come across a situation where you may have a concrete garage floor or a shed where the floor has not been treated and it's very dusty. There's a fantastic solution for that, and it's right here. Owatrol oil. What you do is, you've got a few possibilities. You can apply Owatrol oil by itself, and that will give you a clear finish on the floor. It will be completely sealed, no more dust, easy to clean, easy to wash. Then again, you have another possibility. If you'd like to have a grey floor, for example, what you do is you get yourself some oil-based paint and you mix Owatrol oil into the oil-based paint, about 50-50 or even 60% Owatrol, 40% paint. Make it nice and thin. So when you apply that mix onto the floor, it will soak right into the concrete. You'll end up bringing the colour into the concrete with the oil, so you'll end up with a stain. It'll be like a stain on the floor. In this case, it would be a grey stain. You can leave it like that if you wish, or if you want to make it more of a solid colour and put a bit of a skin on it, you can apply another coat of the same grey, but this time add in about 10% of Owatrol oil, and that will give you more solid colour of grey. It's a great idea. You can use the same thing on footpaths and various things like that. Anything that's concrete. You can also use it on the likes of garden plant pots, the terracotta pots, all that type of stuff. Okay, this is another one of the applications of Owatrol oil. It's mostly to do with for painting. If you're doing some painting in the house, or if you're a professional painter decorator, it'll show you the different ways how you can increase hiding power and coverage. It will also cover brush marks, how you can eliminate brush marks and streaks, etc. Lots of useful ideas, so take a look and I'm sure you'll find them useful. This time we're talking about Owatrol oil again for another completely different application from previously mentioned applications. Here we have a piece of plywood. You'll probably be aware, especially if you're in the painting business, that there are certain colours that are extremely difficult to hide or to get coverage on, namely yellows and reds in particular. So if you're doing yellow paint, you need to put on many colours just to cover what was there before. Same with some reds. Now this little sample was done approximately 15 years ago, quite a long time. It looks a bit rough. So here we have a coat of yellow oil-based paint with Owatrol oil in it, about 50% Owatrol oil. You will see that the paint has soaked into the actual plywood. In other words, it's pulled the colour right into the plywood. The same here was red. Normally to get a hiding power in red, you'd need to put on several colours just to get to that point. Here we have Owatrol oil mixed with a red oil-based paint. It's primed and first coated in the first application. Same here, primed and first coated in the first application. One more coat of the same yellow or red with about 10 or 15% Owatrol oil in it. You'll have the job done. Complete, finished, 2 coats. It will not peel. There will be no brush marks, no roller marks. Absolute perfection. This particular idea can be used for other purposes. If you want to apply a stain onto wood, concrete, terracotta, anything of that nature, if you mix the Owatrol oil about 50% with the oil-based paint, it will pull the colour, whatever colour that is, into the substrate. I've seen people using it for all types of things, garden ornaments made of terracotta, even footpaths where you want to get a bit of colour, or patio slabs. You can use it just as a stain, so you have some colour in the concrete or whatever, as distinct from on it. That's another application for Owatrol. Another thing about this is the adhesion. Because the paint has been pulled into substrate, the adhesion will be absolutely extreme. You will not pull that off under any circumstances. Fantastic for the likes of all woodwork, windows, doors, shop fronts, fascia boards, everything of that nature. Absolutely amazing. You don't need any primer when you do this. The penetration that you get with the first coat, that acts as the primer. Anytime you're doing oil-based paint over woodwork, windows, doors, fencing, anything like that where you want a super adhesion job with maximum hiding power, Owatrol oil mixed with your oil-based paint, about 50% in the first coat and about 10% in the second coat. You'll have a superb job. No brush marks, no roller marks, and it will stay there for years.